bugged me.
Which is another small thing. Yeah.
The one that's sticking out?
It's a small thing.
Yeah.
But yes, first of all, I don't know why you would put a board as a stair with like a nail in it, even if it's bent over. Mm-hmm. Like, why wouldn't you just pull it out? But second of all, you've been going up and down these stairs for well past a year.
Because they had supposedly, built this fortress, but you never seen this fucking nail.
You would have seen that nail, and it just so happens to be in a position where it can get pulled up pretty easily.
Plot convenience.
So
for the bag to rip.
Yep.
That really bugged me too, and it was those two things where I was like, no, I want to like it so much, and it's something that most people would probably look past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for some reason, they bugged me to no end, and I couldn't, say, this is a really great movie, because those things really bugged me. But I do think that Emily Blunt is incredible in it. Mm-hmm. I do think that it has some really great sequences in it. We talked about the grain silo, like the part in the cornfield. Mm-hmm. The girl, I think her name is Millicent Simmons, the deaf girl. Mm. She's great in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very good. I was glad that it did so well. I remember watching it in the theater. It was pretty packed.
Yeah.
And this was like a 10:30 show or something. And a lot of people were like really digging the movie. So that's cool. It's cool to see a movie that's pretty solid.
Oh, yeah.
Get a good crowd for it, especially, for a late night show, like what I tend to go to.
When I saw it, you could hear like a pin drop.
Really?
Well, that's because everything in the movie is so quiet. Like, you're trying to crunch your popcorn.
Nobody
your
wants to eat.
Or something like me. It's everyone hears it.
That's a rare thing. You get a bunch of assholes, and the movie was so packed we had to sit up front. All right? Mm-hmm. And I'm scared because I'm like, I want to really enjoy this. I don't know what these people are going to be like. Your usual dilemmas going into a theater. Nobody said a fucking word through the entire thing.
Yeah.
And I thought that was awesome.
That's so funny that you didn't get that bad luck that you always get.
Oh, yeah.
He just happened to he always happens to sit next to that one asshole.
Even when I went with him, Infinity War.
Yes. Yes.
Then we sit next to these Korean tourists, and this lady's live translating
the entire movie.
I remember someone doing that, in Jurassic Park when I saw that, when it first came out. They were narrating the movie through their child who was too young to understand what was going on.
Who yelled at them first? Was it Emma?
No.
Was it Alyssa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alyssa
doesn't care. She's like, hey.
Down the roll and was the row and goes, shh.
And then they look at her and she's like, okay, sorry.
Well, that's a big reason why I don't go to the movies during the day anymore. I go to the last show of the night. Yeah. And sometimes I'm still unlucky. Mm-hmm. I went and saw Green Book last month or a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And there was just me and some other couple because it was a 10:45 show. And I swear to you, they talked through half of the movie, and it made me nuts.
How's that movie?
Movie's good. Mahershala always super good in it. I hope he gets some recognition for it.
Nice. Where were we?
Quiet Place.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good. Check it out. Check that one out.
Like I said, PG-13.
Yes.
Horror.
I was surprised that it was PG-13. I could have sworn it was R, and then I saw that it was actually PG-13.
Well, they weren't giving you the rating for a long time, right up until it was released, and then we found it was PG-13, and I was kind of like, is it going to be as good as the trailer? But, it delivers.
What do you think if they're trying to make a sequel?
It delivers.
I was going to ask you about that.
Because they're
still talking about that, right?
He's writing it.
Okay.
He said that he's writing it right now. If it's based in the universe, it could be good. It could not be good. It's hard to say. Do we need another one? I think it stands.
I think it's a good standalone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just hope it doesn't get overkill.
Because once you do a bad sequel, it kind of cheapens the source material. At least for me. So that's a gamble, but they're gonna ride that shit because that made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
It did make a lot of money.
It was a cheap movie. Was it a cheap movie?
Yeah,
to make.
I couldn't imagine.
I don't know what the budget was, but
Well,
yeah, it was
definitely
above the
made
budget.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the creatures once they're finally revealed? Were you a fan, or were you disappointed, or?
I was disappointed because you actually saw them.
Mm-hmm. You
That's
wanted it
Kind
to
of took
be
away
like
the mystery.
Yeah, like I mean, if you see things, that's what I tell people about Signs. Like Signs is really good until you actually see the aliens, and then they look stupid and goofy and CGI. But when you just see like glimpses,
like the
silhouettes of them,
Yeah.
the blurs, or
yeah,
whatever.
like a foot going into the field.
Yeah, that's really cool. But when you actually see it, it kind of takes away like the suspense and the mystery.
I think if they would have kept those, I think it's the first shot you see is when the little boy gets it, and you just see kind of, you don't get a clear picture of it. It's kind of really blurry and quick, and you just see him get taken.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they would have kept it like that, I think it would have been really good. And if that was the extent of what you get to see, like but throughout the whole movie, that would be cool. But I mean, I didn't hate the way they looked. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Throw something out of this.
What's good? What's a good one? Bomb City.
That was one of your recommendations.
A while ago.
Yeah.
The rocker.
It's basically about in Texas, true story.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Dennehy, I believe his name was.
Yeah.
He was.
Like the actor?
I don't think so.
You don't know Brian Dennehy, the actor?
No.
Big guy, older guy. No shit, that's the guy's name?
I believe so.
Really?
Okay. Now you're making me. But anyway, it's about this this punk rocker kid in the 90s.
Yeah.
He was run down by this jock. With his this jock ran him down with his car, his caddy. Basically, because he was different, or whatever, and they just tell that story like from point A to point B, how like there was the rivalry between like the punks and the jocks, like there is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But
is that documentary, Wesley, or is that a
no? It's like
narrative?
A narrative.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure there's documentaries on it. It was a big story when it happened, but yeah, it's pretty interesting, intense. For the most part, very well acted, and the ending is pretty tragic. And it's something that's happening all around the world.
Oh yeah.
So check that out, Bomb City.
Bomb City.
You can order it on VOD.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure. Chris?
Well, I know that this was a recommendation a while back, like Widows.
Oh, yeah, it's Wes's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Widows is fucking awesome.
Widows is really good, and it reminds me a lot of The Wire on HBO, because it's not just about this heist.
Mm-hmm.
It starts getting into like the city politics
Okay.
and everything, and there's a lot more layers to it than just a heist film.
Yeah.
And there's like Robert Duvall and Colin Farrell, who have kind of, they're like the legacy politicians, and then Brian Tyree Henry from Atlanta is like trying to be elected to city alderman,
Okay.
trying to take over the district that Robert Duvall ran for years, and now his son Colin Farrell runs for years. So it gets into that stuff. Also, another movie like Annihilation, it has a pretty large female-led cast, and all of them, like Viola Davis and Elizabeth. I always forget how to say her last name. Debicki. Debicki. I hope I'm not like totally butchering it.
Michelle Rodriguez.
And Cynthia. Erivo, who has a smaller part in the film, not as big as the other three, but she's really good in it. She was the only good part of Bad Times at the El Royale that I really dug. But it's a good heist movie. It's got a bunch of different layers. It takes a couple of turns that you don't expect. And you and I talked about this, Wesley, after we watched the movie. Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out, and he's in Black Panther, and he's in Sicario.
Holy shit.
He's Brian Tyree Henry's brother. Okay. And he's so fucking creepy and scary good in this movie. And
possibly the best part of the film.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a whole lot of dialogue in the film. He's just scary and menacing. And he's so good in the movie. I hope that guy is a big star. I don't know what he's got coming up next, because this is more of an ensemble movie. Beyond the three female leads, not the rest of the cast doesn't have a big part in it. But because I don't even think he's in it for more than 7 or 8 minutes, and he doesn't have a lot of dialogue.
But he's a fucking scene stealer. Dude.
Yeah, he's super effective in the movie.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope that guy gets in some bigger movies. Yeah, and gets like more like leading roles like he had in Get Out. He's super British too. You know that?
Yeah, when he was. I think it was after when Get Out won all those awards, and he came up and he introduced another award. But he was talking, and it was like, what the heck?
he's in Black Panther too, right?
Yeah, he's in Black Panther.
He's the guy who betrays. What's his name? T'Challa. Forgot his name. But yeah, but Widows.
Okay. Widows, and I know that got recommended after Wesley had seen it.
Yeah, and then CJ threw it out again.
On the Black Klansman show. But I think that's really good, and I don't know how well it did at the box office. I don't think it did all that well, unfortunately, but it was probably one of the better reviewed movies of the year, too.
Liam Neeson
is in it.
He's in it?
John Bernthal.
John Bernthal's in it for like 30 seconds, man.
It's fucking funny.
I was bummed. I was like, what? No. It's like another movie that John Bernthal's in, and he's in it for like less than 3 minutes.
Wind River all over again.
Yeah. Was Baby Driver, where he's in like just like the first few minutes of the movie.
You're never going to see me again.
God.
But yeah, it's got a pretty stacked cast, and everyone's really, really good in the movie.
Okay. It's my turn?
Yeah.
Alright, what else did we have? Oh, man. We talked about it for a second. We actually did talk about it for a second. Totally skipped my... drawing a blank now. So what else you want to go West really quick?
Yeah. I'll throw out something that a lot of people probably think it's weird that I love so much. A Star is Born.
Oh yeah, you're really into that, man.
Yeah. Someone told me that you watched this movie 3 or 4 times. No, I mean, no judgment and everything, but I was surprised. They're like, yeah, Wesley's seen that movie like 3 or 4 times. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I went to see it again when they brought it back to IMAX. I saw it in IMAX, and I thought it was awesome, dude. I really like the soundtrack. I really like...
yeah, and we talked about that before. Like, the original music in the film is actually really good.
Yeah. And the fact that... because I wasn't aware that Bradley Cooper was that kind of musician. You know, he shreds on the guitar. It's all him playing guitar. He has a really good voice.
That's cool.
And then, of course, Gaga. There's, you know... I don't need to talk about Gaga. She's good. But not only is she good in her performances, but her... like her acting chops for this, her being for her first, real leading role, she killed it.
I'll tell you what, there's one of the best scenes of the year is that first scene where Bradley Cooper's on stage and wants her to join him, and she refuses, and then she just says fuck it and goes out there. That's one of the best scenes in any movie this year, and she blows away the crowd.
So in that, she's supposed to be an unknown?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he kind of introduces her to that.
Well, basically, he meets her in a